Welcome back to El Chef Bigotes. Today, we're going to be making some delicious artichokes. Perhaps when you think of artichokes, you think of artichoke dip or artichoke and spinach dip, or perhaps you think of artichoke hearts in a salad, and other Mediterranean dishes perhaps use artichoke in different ways. But today, the way we're going to be using it and preparing it is as an appetizer, where we're going to be eating the meat off the leaves, with the lemon aioli dipping sauce. And so maybe it's a little different than what you're used to, but it's a delicious appetizer. So let's start. So artichokes are actually quite hard when they're nice and fresh. They're kind of tough. They're kind of almost leathery. To be honest, it almost feels like I'm grabbing a football here. But what we're going to do is we're going to prepare these first. I'm going to show you how we're going to prepare a little bit in advance. Then we're going to boil them, and then after the boil, we're going to season them, and then we're going to throw them on the grill. So let's start by preparing. One of the things you want to do is just kind of remove some of this little extra leaves. These main leaves over here is what we're going to be eating off of. Typically what I'll do when I serve these is that I'll cut them in half, as you'll see. So with 2 artichokes, you'll be able to serve 4 side dishes or 4 appetizers. Maybe just cut the stem off in half. Something to keep in mind is, again, these artichokes are very, very tough. So you got to have a pretty hardy knife when you're kind of cleaning these up and preparing them. Okay, it's kind of interesting. These things have almost like a little thorn at the end of each little leaf, so you want to be a little careful with that. But what we're going to do is we're going to cut the end off here, maybe about 1 inch from the end. And again, it's hard. Okay, so it takes a little bit of strength here and a very sharp knife. So you just kind of cut it like that. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to slice it down middle in half the long way. And when you do that, what's going to happen is it's going to expose the center. Okay, this is the hard part here along with the stem. So now what we're going to do is take kind of a good size spoon, and we're just going to scoop out. It's kind of, you kind of see it here. It's kind of kind of hairy here. Again, it takes a little bit of effort. You just kind of, we're just going to scoop all that out. Then what you're going to do is take out just kind of some of these inner leaves, the ones that are kind of yellowish. Those you can take out. You want to kind of just keep the outside, which is kind of what's green. We're going to remove almost like half of the insides here, kind of clean it up a little bit. But that's kind of what you're going to leave it looking like. It's pretty hollow. Take out all the little hairy stuff inside, and you're just going to be left with all the main leaves on the outside with a little bit of the stem. And then all this is still part of kind of the heart part of the artichoke, which is all going to be edible. Okay, so you're going to leave them all like that. Okay, so once they're all cleaned up, this is what they're going to look like. The stems are still there. The inside has been all hollowed out. Now what we're going to do next is you're going to have to boil them. Again, these are very hard. If we just try to take these out to the grill right now and cook them over the grill or over charcoal, they're still going to be very hard. What we have to do first is boil them. We're going to soften them up, and then we're going to season them, and then we're going to throw them out on the grill. I've got a pretty good sized pot with some boiling water already. We're going to let them boil for about 30 minutes. So while those are boiling, we're going to go ahead and make the marinade for them. And so what I have here is 1 cup of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons pepper, juice of a lemon, and then I have here about 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. Okay, you just put all that together, and we're going to mix that up a little bit. So we're just going to let that sit for a little bit while the artichokes are finished boiling. I let them go for about 40 minutes. They're nice and soft, ready to roll. So let's take these out. We're going to strain them a little bit, and then we're going to season them. All right, they've been straining for a couple minutes. I'll go ahead and put these in here. And we're going to pour the yummy marinade that we had all over them. There's all that yumminess, that flavor. Just kind of toss those up a little bit. Oh yeah, that's gonna be good. Wait for that grill and charcoal to be ready, and we're gonna go put them out and grill these bad boys. Okay, so I have the kettle grill here all set up. I did put a couple little apple wood chunks because I did want to smoke these a little bit, give them a little bit of a smoky flavor. Now remember, we do have quite a bit of olive oil on here, so it's probably gonna flare up a little bit. But don't panic, that is all flavor. I did strain them a little bit after, just because there was quite a bit of olive oil. You're going to put these on here like this. You also know you've boiled them enough when the leaves kind of start coming off a little bit. Don't worry about that. We're going to let these go. I'm going to go ahead and cover them just to kind of set that fire down a little bit and give them a little bit of that smoke flavor. It's not going to take long. We're only going to leave them in there maybe 5 minutes at the most. Okay, so just let them sit in there. I'm going to close this up a little bit. Let more smoke stay inside. I've got the bottom vent closed all the way. And we're going to let those go for, like I said, maybe 4 to 5 minutes. They don't take too long because, again, they're already boiled. They're already softened. At this point, all we're trying to do is give them a little bit of the char flavor, a little bit of the smoky flavor, put some of the grill marks on them, and give it that good char flavor. We'll be back. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to flip them over. You can see they're starting to get that nice little crispiness on the edges, which is perfect. Oh, yeah. I can already tell these are nice and soft. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush on some of that extra olive oil that I have left over. Just kind of baste it on there. Just going to let it drip on. This is all yummy flavor here. And we're going to let this go for a little bit longer on this side. I'm going to cover it up. I'm going to flip it over one more time. I want that flavor to kind of get in between all the leaves. I wish you could smell this. You know, even veggies give off a nice smell, a nice scent. Alrighty, I'm gonna cover it back up. Then only one more minute. We're gonna go ahead and take these bad boys off. All right, let's go taste these guys. There you go, grilled artichokes. I can tell you right now, it smells really, really good from here. And so when it comes to plating, it's really quite simple. Really, all you can do is serve it on its own or some sort of a dipping sauce. You can certainly use like a ranch or a blue cheese. You can use a garlic aioli or another type of dipping sauce of your choice. But here, what we served it with is a lemon aioli. And so when it comes to plating, really, it's quite simple, as you can see here. So here's what happens now. To eat this in this way with the leaves still on the artichoke, these leaves come off very easily if properly cooked. These come off, I mean, you even saw when I was on the grill, they fall apart really easily. So you just take, and on the bottom side of these leaves, there's meat on there. This is that's the main part of the vegetable, and so all this inside is like, it looks like fibers, but that's all kind of the vegetable meat. And so what you do is you just kind of dip it just a little bit, and this is what you're going to enjoy. All right, let's taste it. Here you go, a little bit of dipping sauce. And again, what you're going to eat is the inside of that leaf. You know, so you just kind of, with your teeth, you just kind of tear off the meat off of the leaf there. And it tastes really good. You know, it tastes like a vegetable. I don't know if I'd compare it to any other kind of vegetable, but there is definitely like a vegetable type of taste and texture to it. So all you do is continue to eat all the leaves off the meat. You know, when you're done, you will have a small pile of these little leaves, but nevertheless, it's still a great little appetizer. Not to mention that it's healthy. You know, artichokes, you know, they're a vegetable, so they're very healthy. They're high in fiber. They've got antioxidants. They're known to promote some good heart health, some gut health, and so this just happens to be one way that you can enjoy them and grill them and prepare them. Which are really, really tasty. You know, you don't have to serve them with the aioli or any other kind of dipping sauce, because that probably defeats some of the purpose of the nutritious factor. But even the way we prepared them with the marinade and the garlic, olive oil, they taste very, very good on their own. And so just one way to enjoy this very nutritious vegetable. So there you go, a very healthy, nutritious appetizer there with the grilled artichoke. I hope you enjoyed that recipe. What did we learn today? A couple things I did notice as I was preparing and marinating everything. One thing is that I did say 1 cup of olive oil. For 2 artichokes, you could probably get away with about ½ a cup of olive oil. With the amount of marinade that I had made, I'm sure it's possible to have marinated 4 or even 6 artichokes. So just keep that in mind. If you're just going to make a couple artichokes, you can reduce that quantity of olive oil down to about ½ a cup. The other thing I noticed is I probably did let them boil a little too long. These were more of a medium size. Sometimes they're a little bit smaller, sometimes they're really big. These happen to be about a medium size. I let them go for like 40-45 minutes. I probably could have taken them off at about the 30-minute mark. I'm always just concerned that if you underboil them, they do come out really hard and it's difficult to take the meat off the leaf. but I think I did let them go a little too much. That's why they were kind of falling apart on me on the grill. And even though they fall apart a little bit on the grill, it doesn't mean that you can't still plate them and enjoy all of those leaves that were there. It's just that they did fall apart a little bit on me. Another thing we learned is that artichokes can be a very healthy alternative as a side dish or as an appetizer. So keep that in mind too when you're having guests over. Instead of having something unhealthy or fried, certainly artichokes are a good alternative. Like we mentioned, artichokes could be served with some sort of a dipping sauce. They don't have to be. They were really quite flavorful with all the marinade that we put on there with the garlic. I can really able to taste the lemon and the garlic in there. I served it with a lemon aioli, but if you don't have a dipping sauce, don't worry. These artichokes are really quite flavorful on their own. With just a little bit of the seasoning or the marinade that we put on these. And so you can enjoy these just like that without any kind of dipping sauce. So I hope you enjoy that artichoke. I know it's healthy, but believe me, it still tastes good. So for the time being, sas y tan tan. And we're just gonna let that sit until the okay, here we go. It's been about 40 minutes that these artichokes have been boiling in some salted water. So here's what they're kind of looking like. Ow! That is hot. The other thing to keep in mind is that artichokes are a very good alternative, right, to a side dish or an appetizer, to some of the other more unhealthy options. Although the other options are very tasty, right?